Welcome to the I Work For Me podcast. I'm Melina Lewis, and I'm super excited to have you all listening in today. I am speaking to a very interesting and dynamic woman called Dylan Kolstad. She is not only the owner of a full digital agency, but she's also a speaker, mom, wife, etc., etc. So she's going to tell us a little bit today about how she started out her business, as well as how she carries on juggling all these balls. So I think before I carry on, let's introduce Dylan. Hello, Dylan. Lovely to meet you.
Hi, Melina. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Dylan, with every show we start, we always ask, what was it that you wanted to be when you were a little girl?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I've always been sort of a bit of a tomboy, and I've always a truck driver did cross my mind. I watched this Chuck Norris movie, don't ask, and there were truck drivers. I was like, I aspire to be a truck driver. But unfortunately that passed.
Good.
And so I like to joke that I wanted to either be a mercenary or a missionary, but I became a marketer, which I think is a good mixture of the two.
Yeah,
it's sort of
the same.
Saving people, give me the money now, buy the thing or kill you. So yeah, marketing. But actually, I must be honest with you. I had zero gumption as when I hit matric. I didn't know what I wanted to become. I didn't know. I had no idea, and so I actually just copied my older sister who was in marketing. And if I really followed my dream, I would have become a personal image consultant. But back in those days, I didn't know how to cobble this thing together, and there was nobody to guide me. And so I just fell into marketing, and it's actually worked out quite well. It's a good match for my personality, so I'm actually happy.
Isn't it wonderful when that happens? Yay for your older sister. Is she still in marketing?
She is. She's actually aspiring to be a CEO of a big international hotel group.
Wow.
And I probably shouldn't be telling you that.
We don't know which one. We don't know what her name is.
One of my sisters.
One of your sisters. You clearly have a few. Okay.
Yeah, she's the A-type perfect one who's just always been the smartest, the most driven, the most successful. And then, there's just sort of the rest of us just following in her footsteps.
Well, great. Well, I mean, that's great to have an older sister who's a lovely guide. So yay, lucky you. That's awesome. And it's great that you've ended up where you are. So if you can tell us a little bit about your business and everything else that you do, please.
Yeah, I think following on from what I just said, I think what I'm trying to get at is that sometimes you think your path is a big fat mess. And you look at other people's paths and you think they're so perfect and their path is amazing, and why am I on this rocky road, or why didn't I make these choices? And sometimes you beat yourself up thinking I should have taken this path, I should have done this. But actually at the end of the day, at some point in your life, it all clicks together in this beautiful divine harmony, and you realize that, oh, that's why I had to do this and go there and work there and learn this, because everything has come together for me as an entrepreneur. So initially I said I never want, I studied marketing just because I had no the idea. And then I worked in advertising, and I was a marketing manager, and I worked around the world a little bit. I worked in London and Australia, and had some horrific experiences working for terrible people who thought I was completely useless, but I learned from them, and eventually I came and started my own company. I was actually retrenched, so that's how I ended up here. I've always wanted to have my own agency, and I never would have done it myself. I had these golden handcuffs on my last job I was working at. I was earning a nice salary, and there was no way that I was going to leave that job until they retrenched me. And so yeah, that was the opportunity. I thought, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about my agency. I run a full service digital marketing agency, and also that's a whole story in bed. We don't have enough time, but I also didn't know what kind of an agency to create. So when I initially started my agency, it was more like a marketing agency. We did everything. Do you need big data analytics? We'll do mystery shopping, usability testing, the whole shebang. I literally put everything out there. And then I saw what people needed the most of. And so we've kind of whittled it down. So we can still do a whole lot of stuff that's not on the website, but mostly we do this traditional digital marketing and what I call next level social media. So everyone can do the plain stuff, and like, how do we take it to the next level? So that's really what our company is about.
Brilliant. And then you also do a lot of speaking. Tell us a bit about all the other things that you do as well.
Yes, I think I'm a teacher at heart.
That's divine.
I think I'm actually a teacher at heart. I love to help people, and I've realized that a big part of my why is to develop people. So if you come and work at Shift One, a big advantage to working at Shift One is I churn out digital marketers. So, and I realize it's really fulfilling for me, for people to have come across my company, worked at my company, worked with me, and to see them go from a career path that really wasn't going anywhere to actually having a successful career path. So I develop people, and I love to help my clients to succeed. So, and part of me sharing and giving back is teaching. And so you do a lot of speaking engagements. I have another company called the Digital Marketing Academy, where we do a lot of training. During lockdown, I released a series of free talks on all the top digital marketing topics, like literally, this is how you set up MailChimp, this is how you do Instagram, this is how you personal brand, this is how you use LinkedIn. Just these quick little nuggets on our Facebook group called Digital Marketers Unite. So I love to give back, and I think that's a big part of who I am. And I actually find that by being generous, kind of like you, Melina, interviewing people, it brings this energy to your business. And I've written a blog about it called The Paradox of Generosity. But I think that when you're generous and you give other people free IP, you give away the essence of what you do almost, that's when your clients come in, that's when you get back.
Absolutely. I think that is one of the things as a business creator is so important. And I've heard it said many a time that actually you need to think about, how do you build giving into what you do? And so you're sharing your knowledge, and that's amazing. I think all the stuff that you've mentioned is little courses that people would need to help promote their business. You know, some businesses don't really exist online. It's maybe word of mouth or, you know, retail, whatever the case may be. So wonderful that you've given all of this information to help people actually expand their business, you know. So it's, yeah, thank you. I think that's fantastic that you've actually done that, which is really, really awesome. Okay, so you've got, you know, where you are, you've got an academy, you've got a your digital agency. I think when we chatted before, you hinted at you're starting something else now as well, to do with printing, maybe.
Oh yes. I've recently expanded into printing. Yes. So I think, so that was sort of to touch on the point that you raised, is many streams of income. And I think it's about having a portfolio at your fingertips. And I think I heard a talk about this a while ago, and this is really what inspired me is, you know, as an individual, you're not just one thing. I'm not just a digital marketer. I'm so many things. And so what I love about being an entrepreneur is you can craft income streams from all your different kinds of streams of passions. You don't have to be constrained to just one thing. So I do come from a traditional ad agency background where I did a lot of print and production and that kind of thing. And I'm really passionate about paper. I know it sounds crazy being a digital marketer, but I love paper. I always have notebooks. I have a physical paper diary. And I do believe that traditional marketing and physical, tangible marketing and digital marketing, they integrate so beautifully, and they create a more memorable brand experience. So part of that is us launching our print shop, which actually hasn't launched just yet, but hopefully we'll launch in the next week or two. We'll literally have our print shop. It was really exciting. Thank you.
Cool. So what I love about your businesses is that they all connect from a marketing
Yeah.
branding perspective. So there's the learn how to do this, there's the here we help your business do this, and then printing is kind of also down the line and in line with all of that as well. So everything connects. It's not as if you've opened up a boerewors shop,
Yes.
you've kind of stuck to the marketing and pulled in all these pieces where you obviously see a need. So why a print kind of service? Is it because you kind of want to just make it more seamless between your business? Or do you think you're going to be offering something special in this print business that no one else is doing?
So the print service that we offer is fully online. So you literally just upload your artwork, put in your details, the quote is right there, you order it and it arrives. So free delivery nationwide. The thing that makes it special is that it's really low cost. And I know you shouldn't ever go in with low cost as a marketing advantage because you just enter into a price war. But the convenience of ordering it online, checking your artwork online, just everything there, the quote, you don't have to email someone, say how much to print 400 of these. You pick the paper, you double-side it. It's all, you just control it yourself. And it's literally within a minute or two, I've even sent something to print that was it was a PowerPoint that I saved as a PDF.
Oh,
And
wow.
I personally sent it to print and I got my little flyers and they look fine. And I'm huge on that because I think a lot of people watching this, they sit and they think, I can't do that. Like you tell yourself these reasons why you can't do something, I know because I've heard that voice in my own head so many times, like, you can't do this, you can't do your own video, can't do Zoom talks because I don't know how to edit a video.
Yeah.
I don't know how to set up a live webinar. I don't know how to make something and send it to print. You know what I mean? So we tell ourselves all these excuses why we can't do something, but actually sometimes just doing it is all that's needed. And it may not look the greatest, it may not be the best, but it's the start, and the next one is better and the next one is better. So
Yes.
I don't know, I'm a big fan of just do, even if it's a little bit crappy.
Yeah.
Just start doing, because I think perfectionism is actually just an excuse for not doing.
Absolutely. And I've often been like, say, when you interview someone and you'll say, oh, what is your fault? And then they'll say, oh, I'm a perfectionist. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think we'll ever get on. Because I don't do perfection. So it's more around, have you got the general sense and vibe and everything that, and have you actually got something? If you're a perfectionist about a nothing that ever comes to bear, like, what's the point in that? So agree with you completely in terms of that. It's like, well, get the ball rolling, try it out, stuff it up and fix it. Like, how bad can it be, in terms of what you're trying to put out there? And if you mess it up, we're not architects, we're not building buildings, so it's fine, you'll be all right. Shame for architects. But I love that attitude of, come on, just get up and go. And that makes me think that, so when you got retrenched and you had your beautiful golden handcuffs, maybe diamond encrusted, what was that process? Because I think maybe now, coming out of lockdown, coming out of coronavirus shutdown, there might be people who have lost their jobs. And, how did you get through that process? How did you get the strength to start your own thing?
Thank you so much, because you're exactly 100% right. So when I was retrenched, I struck on this analogy. So basically, I felt like a dairy cow that had my whole life worked in a company, been told where to eat, was always pressed up against a herd of other cows, what to do. And then you took this dairy cow, plump and unskilled and no survival wits, and I got put into like the middle of the Kruger National Park, and every rustle and like grass moving, I was terrified. I literally would like take 2 steps forward, take 2 steps back and look around. But over time, I can feel that I've grown into this longhorn steer. You know, in America, they've got these longhorn steers with 11 feet from point to point that can take on a grizzly bear. They can take on a mountain lion. And I've actually got this little longhorn steer at my office, this little plastic longhorn steer, because it reminds me of the journey that I've been on to turn from this terrified dairy cow to a longhorn steer. And it just took time. It took time. And like the very first challenge that came to me was one of my clients didn't want to pay a 4,000 Rand invoice. And I was like, oh, I'm shutting this business down. This is too hard. I can't even do this. This is like the,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
so when like you 4,000 Rand, you know?
Yeah. No, it was so stressful. And like so that Goliath that faced me was huge, and I had to learn to fight that Goliath. And then when I look back, I was like, oh, that was easy. And then the next Goliath came, and it got bigger and it got bigger, or the wave, whatever the analogies that you want to, you know, the waves got bigger, but I got stronger and I got better at surfing.
Yeah.
And I started to enjoy it. And I even had a dream about 2 years into running my business about these huge waves coming at me, but I was using this weird hoverboard, and I just like floated right over them. And when I woke up, I knew that was a dream of meaning, that, you know, I had passed the test. I was now enjoying it. I wasn't so terrified anymore. But I did have a business mentor who guided me.
Okay, so would that then be something you would recommend to people, to get a business mentor?
Yes, so much. Peter Moss was gentle. He was kind. He knew you know, whether I was having marital problems or emotional problems or business problems, he knew what to say. And he literally guided me the first 6 months to a year of my business. Wow. And then I felt I outgrew him. Okay. And then I moved to the next mentor. And now I actually don't have an official mentor at the moment, but I do read a lot of business books, which I think is always a good idea.
Okay, cool. And I love that you kind of were able to move on to the next business mentor. How did you find your business mentor? Because I think, you know, that might be something that people would think. I wouldn't know the answer. Do you sit on Google and go, business mentor in South Africa? You know, how do you find these people?
Usually they were recommended to me. Someone would say, this is a good business mentor. And I think I needed them because I lacked confidence in myself. And the last business mentor I had, actually, I felt did a lot of damage to me. He's a wonderful guy, and he didn't do it on purpose, but I was going through, my business was really struggling. I mean, I've nearly killed my business at least 3 or 4 times. Let us be honest. I sometimes think I've coined the term shitrepreneur. I don't think I'm the best entrepreneur because I have literally nearly sunk it at least 3 or 4 times. I've had like 10,000 Rand in the bank, and I'm like, okay, guys, we're going under. And then by the grace of God, it turns around after much praying and crying. But the last business,
and sorry, I'm interrupting you, but sorry, I come out of the ad agency environment too, and I've never worked for an ad agency that is cruising beautifully forever. It's like that is a pipe dream. Don't get into the ad business if you want like beautiful, steady income, because you are always hustling for work constantly. You know, you do a job, it ends. Okay, where's the next piece of business coming from? So it's a very difficult business. So don't be so hard on yourself. I think it's a industry-wide issue. So I had to interrupt there. My apologies. But please.
No, thank you. Thank you. But I mean, I had to learn. My costs were too high, and the clients that I had, they weren't able to pay what I needed them to pay, and I wasn't charging out for all this stuff, and so I was just absorbed, you know. So I learned a lot through the whole process, and that's, I think, the thing is, don't let the learning curve put you off, because the lessons come at a slow but steady pace, and they come at you at the level that you can take. They're always a little bit harder than what you want, and then you think you can take, but they're always just at the slow, steady pace, and they'll never break you. but you just might feel like you're going to die, but you you get through it, and then you're bigger and you're stronger. And this last mentor I had, he really undermined my confidence as being a woman. He told me I must tie my hair up, I shouldn't wear dresses. And he told me that no successful agency's been run by a woman.
Never.
And he absolutely crushed my self-confidence in the hugest way. But when I rose up from that, I literally just like Wonder Woman, I just broke those last shackles off of me. And it was what I needed, because there were now no excuses. And I was just like, F everything, I'm doing this. And so
I'm so amazed, because it could have gone the other way. Like someone who puts himself out there, I almost want to name and shame. Okay, but my good self is getting involved here. But someone who does that as a business mentor, I am horrified. I've worked in agencies that are run by women successfully. So like, you know, okay, sample size of now 2 of us, you know, but what an awful thing to say. How, like, yeah.
I think I don't know. I think he thought he was trying to help me. I'm not sure. But it was what I needed to hear, because I think it stopped bothering me that I am a female running an agency all by myself kind of thing. I now have a business partner who's amazing, who's come on board to really just complement my skill set. Because I did realize I don't have to be everything. I don't have to know everything. I can say, okay, I'm good at this. Who's good at this? And you know, like, let me find somebody who's just a really good fit. And exactly at the right time, my business partner, Michael Wimpy, just sort of came to me. But I did have to go through the desert to get to the oasis, if it makes sense. So there's no shortcut, the painful process. And I feel like being an entrepreneur is all just about cleaning up your own baggage and stuff. So maybe all of life is just all about cleaning up your own baggage.
Well, I think if you cruise through life, I don't know, you don't get the opportunity to go through those experiences. And I think, you know, yeah, some of us need tougher lessons than others in order to like really acknowledge that. But I think owning your business is definitely, you've got to, you know, shit gets real. And you have to be able to cope with that and stand up. And I think, yeah, finding yourself and what is valuable to you is important. And I'm so glad you didn't give up. Go you. Yay, girl power. Woo. So well done. That's fantastic. And then for taking on a partner, because I think for someone who owns their own business, it can be quite hard to let go. So I think that was, as you say, that learning process where you were able to go, okay, wait, hold on, not going to do this all myself. And that person walked in because you'd opened the door. Maybe you hadn't, maybe the door was shut before. So yeah.
Right. I literally did the work, the inner work, and something shifted. And I started to realize I have an amazing, actually, you know, I do have someone who is a mental mentor, mind mentor. Her name's Mareka Braza. She helps me navigate my inner chaos. And she did some work with me where I realized that I wanted to take all the credit for myself, you know, which is why I wanted to do everything myself so no one could. And when that thing shifted in me, literally the next day, that guy, Michael Wimpy, came into my life, and it was like, okay, it's amazing. So you're right. So we do have these inner blocks within ourselves and our own inner stories that we tell ourselves. And when we become aware of that story, that is when things start to shift, you know. Sometimes we don't even have to necessarily do, like for me, I call it doing the work. Mareka calls it doing the work, which is just looking at it is doing the work sometimes. Like, okay, there's something here, there's something I'm avoiding, or some weirdness, you know. And then things shift.
Absolutely. And I think often, so in the kind of yoga tradition, there's often a lot of, you keep having to learn the same lesson until you've really progressed through it and changed something or shifted something. And so, you know, often you see people with those recurrent bad relationships or working for the same kind of boss. You're just changing the environment, but you're not changing the problem. And until you face up to that problem, it's very hard to shift. You're just going to kind of keep that repetition going, hamster wheel stuff. So good on you for yay. I like your mind guru. That's nice. I've also got a few friends, shame, my poor friends, who I torture with my mind issues. So yeah, you've got to have one in your life, I think. So that's great. So obviously there are these kinds of experiences that you've had in kind of creating your business and businesses. Now you're starting up a new business. You're also doing this learning business. What are some of the things that you would recommend to people are important when setting up a business?
Yeah. So I've been a corporate animal my whole life. I've been employed my whole life. And so I didn't understand the entrepreneurial journey at all. And I actually did a short course on entrepreneurship at the Bandwidth Barn.
Okay.
And that really sort of showed me the path ahead. And all that it really taught me, I think, was that these are the different pillars that now you're responsible for. So it kind of managed my expectations and also inspired me to really do it because I was still terrified. And then secondly, I think the biggest thing that you need, besides obviously some skill in this area that you're going to embark on, is a network. And this is where I actually struggled. So just to give you some absolute context, when I moved to Cape Town 15 years ago, I got a job in online gaming, and it was a global company. And so I didn't meet anyone outside of that company. So I never dealt with any local businesses because we were completely insular to ourselves in online gaming. So for 6 years, I worked in this company, and then I was retrenched and started my own business, not knowing one contact in Cape Town.
Tough.
So pretty tough, and actually maybe not the greatest idea. But I got co-working space at the Bandwidth Barn, and some of my first clients started coming from this little network that I started building up at the Bandwidth Barn. Okay. And I actually met Michael at this space, who became my future partner. And I still have contact with a lot of the people and the contacts that I made initially way back in that day. And so I just expanded my circle of small businesses, because I was helping small businesses and entrepreneurs at that stage, and it's just grown and grown and grown. But it would have been so much easier if I'd known people, if I could have picked up the phone to 17 marketing managers and said, hey guys, I've gone on my own, are you looking for something? And so you got to know some skills, you got to have some skills, and which I've spent a few years in corporate acquiring. And then it's helpful if you know some people, because I know people who have gone on their own with ad agencies, but because they come from that whole ecosystem, they know all the top marketing managers, they know everybody in the game. And I came in, and yeah, so it has been tough, but yeah, it's been a good journey.
Well done to you for actually making that happen, because I know Cape Town is actually very tricky and very difficult to find clients, because I also originally come from Johannesburg. And so, they're also fantastic network in Joburg. Oh, easy, no problem. I'll go to Cape Town, replicate. No, that is the wrong thing. I still get work in Cape Town from people in Joburg. Still, I've been here 8 years. So I find Cape Town extremely, extremely difficult in terms of marketing and consulting kind of work. It's not easy at all. And it just shows you it's quite a tricky environment. So kudos to you. You broke in. And I think, maybe working in a co-working space, if you're selling possibly a service and you're starting out on your own or with one or two people, that's a stunning idea, actually, to be in that environment where you can speak to people and say, oh, I do this. If you're going to a meeting and you're doing XYZ, you can always tell people about me too, and I'll do the same for you. So there's a lot of those kind of things that you can do.
And also give away your service or your product for free. So I got this advice from a good friend, Zane Green, who was also at the Bandwidth Barn. And he told me that until you have clients, do the work for free. Because what happens is there's this energy that you get from doing your work and working your craft. And nobody wants to touch anyone who's got who's like, oh, please, I'm so quiet. I need clients. You know, there's like no one will touch you with a barge pole.
No.
But if you're like, oh, I'm so busy, you know, we've just got so much work coming out of our ears and nobody needs to know you're doing it for free. But that kind of energy begets energy. So donate your services for free until you get some paying clients. And it also gives you case studies and a bit of a track record.
Absolutely. And something that I have learned in Cape Town, which I do love, is that you can also barter or swap, or whatever you want to call it, you know. I'll do this for you and then you can do this for me and we'll swapsies, and that works out quite nice. No one's then at a loss. We've each gained something and you can show work. So it's a great one. So
a lot of trade exchanges. I love the trade exchange. The only problem with the trade exchange is it doesn't help like with actual, like you can't pay your staff in trade exchange or pay your rent in trade exchange. But if you're working from home and you need that jewelry or accounting services, you know, it works like a bomb. I love that. You're
absolutely
right.
Yeah, I do also work with a lot of smaller agencies on trade exchanges. You know, I'll write copy, you do my logo, you know, and so it works out very, very nicely. Yeah, so it is a goodie. But yes, it doesn't put food on the table unless you're bartering or trading for food. So you just need to find a green grocer to trade with. So then it would work quite nicely, I reckon. So in terms of your business, you've now got all these different businesses. Do you set goals for yourself personally, for your business, for each independent business differently? Is there this master, you know, take over the world plan? How do you kind of visualize where you're going?
It's funny you say that, because I do set goals and I never achieve them. And I don't know why. It comes back to shitrepreneur, #shitrepreneur. So I think what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to say, I want to make this much in the year. And then I'm supposed to like break it down by month and then break it down by week. And I might do the work. You see, this is me. I'll do that spreadsheet and then I'll like, oh no, I can't look at that again. Or I don't know. Because I'm also responsible for the new business development and bringing on the clients. It's kind of difficult for me to, you know, I can know what I want, but it's really hard to make that happen, which is so bizarre, because I literally, if I sat with you on your business, I can make it happen on your business. I know how to get you clients. No problem at all. That's what we do. But for my own company, I'm like, my hands curl up. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Maybe take out some Google ads. Oh no, I don't know. It just seems so hard. Meanwhile, we run these mega accounts for clients, Google ads, getting them so many clients. But so I think for myself, I take a slightly more organic approach. But that being said, with COVID-19, it's been a huge blessing for me, because it's made me global instantaneously. So I told myself the story that, you know, an ad agency in London or in Stockholm has an advantage over me because they can just go and see the clients. However, now nobody wants to see anybody face to face and everybody's doing Zoom calls. So I now have 2 or 3 of my team actively reaching out on LinkedIn to get us new clients and prospects from. We're targeting America, Australia, we're targeting Dubai, we're targeting UK. So I am aggressively trying to get myself some clients from these areas. We'll see how it goes. But failing that, I'll do some ads.
As a last resort, I will spend money on social media platforms. But that is
I think I'm stingy. I think I'm stingy, just like an entrepreneur, about spending my own money, even though I know. And the first thing I say to clients when they come and see me is, I say, what do you need? They say, I need clients. I say, fantastic. We switch on your ads. Done. It's like, you need clients? We run ads, 100% correlated, fix that problem,
Yes.
you know? And
Exactly.
so,
Easy. But if you've got short arms and long pockets, it's tricky to get those clients. You've got to dig in. You've got to dig in, literally.
I know. And the problem is I can't write copy about myself or the company. It's we're the greatest digital marketing agency ever.
No one believes that anyway, so trust me.
I think you should create my ads for me and I'll create your ads for you.
Done. Deal.
Done.
That's great. I mean, anyone listening now is going to be like, are we even involved in this conversation? So, but that's awesome. Yeah, good. We'll chat later. So I think, I wanted to say there was a great talk. I don't know if you know Alan Reyes. He works a lot with entrepreneurs in kind of the enterprise development startup work. And he did a talk with Nedbank that I listened to. And he was saying the COVID situation is an ultimate option and an exciting opportunity for South African businesses to go global. So, I mean, this is someone who's giving sound advice to small businesses, and he's saying, you know, no one can go anywhere. This means you can go everywhere. And you've taken that completely on board, and you've done that because you're obviously comfortable with digital. And I think that there's immense opportunity. South Africans work hard, we are creative, we are clever. So there is huge opportunity for us to work. You've worked in the UK, in Australia, you know, you were hired in those places. You aren't inferior in any way. And I fear that as South Africans, we often feel like stuff that comes from overseas is better, but it isn't. Often it's not. It's often really rubbish.
Exactly. About 2-3 years ago, I did a sale. Sorry, that was it all. 2-3 years ago, I did a sales trip to the UK, and I, with my own stories, was telling myself that I've got nothing to offer the UK. London, everyone's going to know more than I know, and I'm going to land there, and I'm going to be like, you know, the idiot in the room. And it really, okay, it was the case in the certain echelon of uber digital marketers that deal with the Uber companies, like the big megas, and they were made for each other. But there's this mass of medium to middle-sized, which is the same as medium. So not the mega corporates, but the level just under them to sort of mid-size, because we don't really want to handle the real bottom guys, because that's too little money for too much hard work. So that we position ourselves in this band here. There's so many companies there that still don't know digital marketing, and they still need help, and they still need guidance. And so you will always find a little pocket of clients who need you anywhere in the world. And that's where digital is so great, is you can, if you spend a little bit of time researching and searching, you'll be able to find that niche of clients, of people who still need you, even if they're based in Stockholm.
Yeah, exactly. And the solutions that you offer can be, as you say, global on the internet. You know, it's one big shopping mall. So, you know, who owns what?
And a really powerful tool for you is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your best friend. It's literally the directory of almost anybody in the world. So you literally hop on LinkedIn and you do some searching on LinkedIn, and you can find people to connect to, and you can reach out to them, or you can do a more aggressive approach, which is direct messaging them, or you can do a more passive approach, which is just creating thought leadership content on LinkedIn where everyone who's connected to you will see it. So LinkedIn is your best friend.
Absolutely, I would agree. And also and I know this is going to sound dodgy, but to profile your market. So, you know, I've worked with a client where we had to, although their clients are a very niched client, we also needed to be able to target them with ads. So it was a case of going through their current client list and seeing what was common about those people, so that we could take those attributes and use that in an advertising campaign to create a campaign that would get more of those same types of people. So, you know, it seems a bit like stalking, but it's not. And just a
Yes.
bit different. So yeah, so LinkedIn is extremely powerful, and I think a great business hack. Talking about hacks, anything else that you think is a good hack for a business?
Okay, so if you need clients, definitely I would create some ads. Facebook ads are the cheapest, and LinkedIn ads don't really work as well. Google search ads are fantastic. I think very important is your website. And you know, when I started Shift One, I coded my own website myself. And I say coded is actually lie, because I bought a Mac, and the Mac had this free web design software on it. This is literally 9 years ago, and I made this my website in this drag and drop little thing, kind of like what Squarespace is.
Yes, yes.
So I think having a decent website is really important, and there's no excuse. You can create it on Squarespace, on Wix.
Mm.
There's some really nice builders, Shopify for an e-commerce. So, but you need to have a decent website, because for me that's your starting point.
Mm.
Um, and so if you ask me what's a hack for starting a business, you know, you don't even need a website. Let's say you're selling earrings, you can put it up on Instagram and say, email me to order.
Yeah.
There should be no barriers between you and creating the life you want to create, except, you know, the only barriers are actually just the stories you're still telling yourself. So do whatever is the easiest, quickest way to test if people actually want to buy those earrings, because maybe nobody wants them. Maybe they, you know, maybe they just, you don't have a market. So don't go and spend a huge amount of money until you've tested if, you know, people actually do want what it is that you sell.
Right. Okay. So website, test what you're selling, set it up as quickly and fast as you can.
Yes.
Using social media. I mean, you can even set up a shop essentially on Facebook, you know, because
Yes.
you can put your product there and then it says, you know, email to order. Like, I promise you, anyone, you can, well, you see how people sell lots of old random junk. So, I mean, but you can create something a bit more professional and have a shop on a social media platform. So there is no excuse really, hey, to just get up and go.
Yeah, completely agreed. And then exactly. And if you can write, it is a huge advantage. So I must be honest with you that I think writing is the most important skill of any human being. Being able to write, especially if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, a marketer, being able to write is, and fortunately it's not something that you have to be born with. It is something that you can learn, and the more you read and the more you practice, the better you can get at it. But you know, one of the first things that I did when I started my business is I wrote a blog called 5 People Who Should Never Design Your Website. And I sent that blog out, and on my email list of, I literally went in my Gmail and I copied all my contacts from my personal Gmail, and that became that became my mailing list. And yeah, and I got picked up. I got a client from Chicago from that. I got picked up by the Jeremy Maggs show on
Amazing.
EMA. I promise you. And I got one of my biggest clients, who's still a client to this day, because I wrote that little article. So I do believe in writing. I really do.
Yeah, it definitely does. It makes a huge difference. And it's about also something, what, you know, if it's a problem for you, it's probably a problem for at least one other person, worst case, you know, but it's probably another 100 people have that same problem. And so write it up, get someone to spell check it for you, and, you know, put it out
Yeah,
there. Like, how wrong can it go?
I
Worst case,
agree.
no one gives a damn. Like, really? But at least actually you've got it off your chest, so you'll feel better too.
So true.
So, last question. I just wanted to find out, you were retrenched from that job and you then made the choice to create your own agency. You chose not to necessarily find another job. And so you've carried on as well, tough times, good times, all of that stuff. You must love what you do. So, what is it about owning your own businesses that you love?
What I love about owning my own business is I don't think I was very good at corporate. I don't think I was a very good corporate animal. I'm not a political person. I can't play the game. I'm there to do good work. Why can't we all just get along? Why are you trying to undermine me? Why are you going behind my back? I don't understand. Like, you know, can't we just be friends? We're all, no. So there's these corporate political people who go behind your back and undermine you. And so I call it corporate hell. I just was really bad at doing corporate. So for me, going back to corporate, just the thought of the politics has kept me on this path. I don't think I do corporate very well. I don't know why. People see me and then they just hate me. There's a certain type of person that meets me and then they just want to destroy me. And I'm like, why are you so horrible?
Yeah.
And so I think I have been offered these amazing jobs. Like every once in a while, someone will contact me and say there's this, like a friend or a contact I know, really trying to entice me. People have tried to buy my business. And that's one thing that I learned very early on is so many people try to partner with me or merge with me, or and I would get this real negative feeling, coming up, and I try to like figure out who's in my head, what is going on, and I'd realize, oh, this is definitely not my path. It's not the path that I'm meant to walk. It just doesn't feel right. So there've been lots of things to try and distract me from the path that I've been walking, and but I've stayed committed, I think, because I like the autonomy. I did say to myself, I would surf every day if I was an entrepreneur, and I think I've surfed like 2 or 3 times. But I do like the autonomy, and I don't work with a-hole clients. I don't work with a-hole staff. We have a no a-hole policy, and we actually charge a-hole tax. If we have a client who's giving us a hard time, we will actually like, what, this is emotionally draining. We're going to have to charge you more. But so I like, I've created a nice culture. I've created a nice company. I hire nice people. There's no shouting. Nobody, it's a really nice vibe. And why would I want to give that up and go work back in a corporate hell? So but I do want to just share something interesting, if I may.
Yes.
Almost in closing, which is about the exit strategy. Yeah. So one of the things that you get drummed into your head, in all the entrepreneurial courses and books that I've read, is everyone wants to know what your exit strategy is. And I've always been thinking, can I sell this company? And I've tried so many times to sell the company. I think I need to exit. Let me sell. And I've recently been enlightened, and I had a massive epiphany that actually I'm not going to exit this business. I'm going to continue to run this agency until I'm a decrepit old lady, and it's embarrassing that I'm talking about digital marketing and whatever, because why not just continue to earn recurring revenue while other people manage the business for you? So there's a different kind of almost exit strategy, more like a retirement strategy, where you hire great people, they run your company, and you continue to earn revenue from a nice business. So that's actually my goal now, is to build a profitable, sustainable, scalable business with different sources of revenue, forms of revenue, with a good team, good clients, and then I can potentially take a little bit more time to spend with my kids, and write a book and do those kinds of things. So that is my future goal.
I love that. And definitely write a book. I think you have a great sense of humor. So that is a definite. But I also like how you are thinking about your business in the sense that, it's not about just getting out. For me, that actually bothers me in a way, with these kind of serial entrepreneurs and this very American approach to running a business, where one is like, the exit strategy. It's like, whoa. Don't you want to like get the business, ticking over and happening first, and enjoy it and hate it and love it, and all those good things. But if you're thinking about ending it, there's no joy. I don't know, to me, that, I struggle with that. To me, very quite American mentality. Maybe it works in the tech space or something, but in our kind of work, I feel like, you've got to get in it, and you built a culture. It's fantastic, and then what are you going to do if you sell it? Start again, I mean, really. Exactly. So I love what you're saying. Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a much better opportunity to grow and build something. Yeah, maybe you can open an office in Stockholm. So who knows, why not? So I think that's a nice opportunity, or open, as you are doing, multiple other businesses. while you
Yes.
run this one, and some will work and some won't, but at least this business will be able to carry that. And I
Okay.
love your policy on no a-holes. Wow, that's amazing. And when you, it was so funny when you said no screaming. I had one of those those like things of when I was in big agency, people screaming across the agency
No,
and using their shiz.
horrible.
It was it was horrible. So
Horrible.
horrible places. So yeah, exactly. It's yeah, we've all been traumatized. I'm sure with enough therapy, everything can be fixed. So ah, thank you so much, Dylan. It's been incredible to chat to you. Can you just tell us where people can get hold of you and your businesses?
Yes, so Shift One Digital is a full service digital marketing agency. So you can reach us at shift1.co.za. The Digital Marketing Academy is on digitalmarketingacademy.co.za. You can reach me dylankolstad.com or any at Dylan Kolstad on any platform. So I love LinkedIn and I love Instagram. So you'll find me very active on those two platforms, or you can just email me dylan@shift1.co.za.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thanks for being on the I Work For Me podcast. You're a star.
Thanks, Melina.
Bye.